Welcome, you're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with uatv. Cinema industry in Ukraine is fast developing. Over the past several years, Ukrainian directors have fascinated international festivals with their works, and the International Cinema Festival in Beijing is not an exception. So what does Ukraine have to offer for the international audience and critics in China? To tell us all about it, we're joined in the studio today by Victoria Yarmoshchuk. She's an executive director of the Ukrainian Motion Picture Association and an advisor to the Ministry of Culture of Ukraine. Hello, and thank you for coming.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. You're absolutely right. Ukraine cinema industry is in fast development right now. It happens due to a number of reasons. And first of all, that Ukrainian people and Ukrainian film market players recognized that the cinema produced here in Ukraine could be interesting both to our local people, viewers, and internationally. And
speaking of international audience, what was the material that you presented at the festival in Beijing?
Yes, I will maybe first tell why we came there, because Ukrainian film industry really need international partners to develop even more fast, more quickly. That is why a year ago, Ukrainian State Film Agency, together with the leading players of market, gathered their forces and decided to make Ukrainian pavilions on the main Ukrainian national pavilions on the main cinema events all over the world. This year we have already stand at Berlin Film Festival, in Beijing. The next is in Cannes, and a couple of other activities are also planned. China is a very, very prospective and potentially interesting partner for Ukraine, because Chinese film market is huge. They have more than 51,000 TV screens.
It's also very diverse, as far as I know.
Yes, it is. They like to watch Chinese movies. They like to watch Indian movies, some Hollywood movies, and we thought, why not Ukrainian? That's why we came there. We held a national pavilion in course of the festival and in course of film market, which is the part of the festival. We presented their Ukrainian movies already produced. We presented their Ukrainian films which are in development and looking for partners. And also, what is maybe the most important, we presented Ukraine as a filming destination for Chinese partners. We told them about our locations, which are very diverse and unique. We told them about our specialists, our services, etc. And I can admit that the most interest was exactly towards our locations. Chinese like them very much, and we heard from many of them that they would love to come and shoot their movies in Ukraine.
So what was the particular result of all that effort you've put in?
During the last 6 months, 3 Ukrainian films was sold to the territory of China. It means that Chinese audience will see them in their cinemas. It is Stronghold, it is animation Stolen Princess, and Didio Contrabass. All these films are very popular in Ukraine, and we hope that the Chinese viewers will also enjoy them. And in course, during that market was signed a contract between Ukrainian company and their Chinese partners on co-production of film about the Ukrainian pilot, which is, by the way, national here in China. He was fighting on the side of Chinese during the Second World War. So it's a very famous person, and he's from Ukraine, so it will be a patriotic film about this guy.
All right, that's great. What about the film festival in Japan? What did you fascinate the audience in there with? Except for the stand. Did you bring any movies? Did you bring any
actually,
developed
Japan,
projects?
it's our next destination. The festival in Tokyo is will take place later this year. So I will tell you about that results when we met next time. And our next stop is Cannes, actually.
Okay, let's talk about Cannes.
In almost 2 weeks, less than in 2 weeks, will be launched the biggest and the most, I would say, influential film festival, which is in Cannes. It is,
of course, it's a worldwide known event.
Yes, exactly. And Ukraine is traditionally holding its pavilion during that festival.
How many years has Ukraine already participated in that?
I may be mistaken, but it's around 10 years already.
So we're totally not new to the
Yes,
Cannes Festival.
Absolutely. But it was like, as you mentioned, it's a huge rise in films, in number of films which are presented and take some prizes on the national festivals right now in Ukraine. And that's why recent years, I would say 2 or 3 years, no, 2, Ukrainian pavilion really raises interest among the visitors of market. By the way, this time there will be 2 Ukrainian films in the competition program of Cannes Film Festival. One of them is Donbass, directed by Sergei Loznitsa. It will open a special section of competition program called Special View. And another film is it's a thriller called Woman at War. It will be also shown in one of the
Is that a documentary, Women at War?
No, it's actually a thriller, and it doesn't have nothing in common with the war as it is. It is a war of that particular women against the companies which damage ecology on our planet. So it's like not all the films which are made in Ukraine are about actual war.
That brings me to my next question. Could the fact that we are having a war in the east of Ukraine going on and people... Some of the artists are getting inspired by that, and they shoot documentaries and they take those documentaries to international festivals or show reels or whatever. Is this the reason Ukraine is popular in the cinema industry around the world right now? Or do we really have talented directors who can work not only in the sphere of the post-war or the going-on war country?
Yeah, actually, I would say that sounds a little bit cynical, but war happens not only in Ukraine. And
exactly.
Unfortunately, it's a big tragedy for each country and for our as well. But it's absolutely not the reason why Ukraine attracts attention of international cinema community. We really have films which travel for international festivals and gain awards, and not all these films are about war. They are about common social problems, about love, about hope, and all the other things which are common and good understood by people all over the world. And this actually proves that we have talented artists, directors, actors, etc. But what is most important right now, and why we actually go not only to festivals but also to business platforms like film markets, is that we need to develop cinema as a business in our country. We need to more films which will be interesting not only for festival goers but for common people. They will bring box offices, they will bring actually money to the industry, and this money could be used to finance art house movies.
How do ordinary Ukrainians evaluate the movies shot in Ukraine and created by Ukrainian directors right now?
I would say that the real breakthrough took place at the end of last year, when a number of Ukrainian films gained really record box offices and attracted an admissions number of people who came to those films were really huge. The only, for example, like an example, one example is animation film Stolen Princess, which gained in our local Ukrainian market more than $1 million.
I watched that. I liked it.
So it's may sound not so impressive in comparison with other films, but these films overcome competitors, among which were Hollywood movies. So it tells us that Ukrainian people really start to believe that Ukrainian,
that's a big deal.
Yes, that Ukrainian films are really worth their money and their time, and this is very inspiring.
But thank you so much for coming and sharing the information that Ukrainian cinema industry is actually booming. That's a good sign, and I wish it goes on like that for years and years to come.
Thank you so much.
That was Victoria Yarmoshchuk. She's an executive director of the Ukrainian Motion Picture Association and an advisor to the Ministry of Culture of Ukraine. Thank you so much for being with us. Stay tuned with UATV for more.